Vale. We are going to start. Okay. Okay, we are going to start. So thank you, everyone. Welcome everyone to the City Stand Lab. It's the third day of the Smart City and the stand. There are plenty of smiling faces, but also tiring faces. So thank you for being here. I'm extremely happy to introduce you to this panel, which is about the impact of the digital transformation on achieving egalitarian society. And we are going to have as a key speaker Lina Galvez Muñoz, who is a Europarlamentarian, who is a vice chair on the Commission about Innovation and Technology and Science. And she is also a member of the group that point the opinion of the Parliament regarding technology and innovation. Previously, she was a full professor on history of economy, one of the worldwide experts on actually feminist economy, which we have been working through during these 3 days. Actually, the 40% of the program has been on gender inclusion and bringing feminism into digital policies and digital economy, which has been a key perspective during these 3 days. But before giving the floor to Lina Galvez to provide us with her expertise and thinking and political work at the European Parliament, I would like to introduce and welcome her also with Pastora Martinez, which is the vice-rector of the Open University of Barcelona, UOC University, which is together with the Barcelona City Council, is behind the Sharing City Action program and also behind the organization of this stand. Pastora Martinez, she is vice-rector on globalization and cooperation, and I am extremely proud of her, let me say this, and also very happy that she's here and introduce her.
Thank you, Mayo. I'm sorry for being late, but thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say a few words of what's going on at the UOC, because all we want to learn what's going on in Europe, actually, but thank you. I mean, the universities here in Catalonia, but also around the world, we are just rethinking ourselves how to be more how's the role of universities concerning the global changes and also digital transformation. And for us as the Open University, we are pretty much concerned on that. And just let me say that we are rephrasing how's our work going on, taking the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Because for us, it's all about knowledge, and there, the universities, we have a lot to say, both in teaching and also in research. So that's why I'm very much interested in what is going on in Brussels. But let me just say that digital transformation and taking on all the technology we are having in order to open up the knowledge we already have, and also to connecting the knowledge we all have, not just in academia, for us is extremely important in order to foster the solutions that we need to address and to tackle the global and the local challenges. And that's where the UOC is working with an open knowledge action plan. trying to connect all the different stakeholders, because we know for sure that the knowledge is no longer at the academy, but also that most of the knowledge is closed, and we want to open it up. And as an open university and full online university, we are also pretty much concerned of sharing this knowledge all around the world, and we think that e-learning, quality e-learning, is also one of the best tools in order to address specifically the SDG 4, which is quality education, and to foster the access, equity, and inclusive access to higher education for all, thanks to that. So thank you very much, Mayo and the Demos Research Group, because you are one of the best examples on how doing that and how connecting the different people as stakeholders in order to create great things, not just in academy, but also the academy, working together with policymakers in order to go further on that. So thank you very much for being here, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastora Martina. Now I will introduce to Michael Donaldson, which is the Digital Innovation Commissioner, and I will give the floor.
Thanks a lot, Mayo. First of all, I gotta apologize myself because I'm leaving just as soon as I finish my speech. In my defense, I'll say that I had another commitment that it was previous to this one. I hate to do this, especially, sorry, Pastora and Lina, because it's really very rude to be leaving after my speech. Okay, so thanks a lot, Mayo, for giving for giving me the opportunity of sharing with you. It won't take that long. Sharing with you Barcelona digital plan for the next 4 years. We have our claim. You can see it behind you. This big cloud, humanizing technology for Barcelona. We've been shifting towards a path of humanizing technology after bidding for a model on smart cities. That model was based on the intelligence that the city, through the sensors, gave us, talking about mobility, about contamination, acoustic, all these issues, more urban issues. We added a new lay. It's not that we erasure this smart city concept, but we added a new lay last mandate on smart citizens, on the smart citizens point of view. So it's a smart city and a smart citizens, and now we've added this another lay about humanizing technology, how technology is at the service of citizens, and it's not technology for technology for infrastructure. So it's technology with a purpose, and that purpose is related to the GDS. It's related to increasing or making better quality of life for our citizens. And that means to tackle, to face not only challenge, I don't really like calling them challenge because they are problems. I mean, citizens are suffering problems. Maybe it's institutions who are facing challenges like sustainability, like social inclusion, like the gender gap, like the main issues that arise in Barcelona, but in all global cities. And it's from the citizens' point of view, it's more a problem than a challenge. Anyway, we are all together in this, or we should all be together in this. And technology, it is a big driver. It's an important driver in order to achieve tackling these problems. We mainly have 3 big areas. We've got one related to ethics and technology, talking about AI, big data. You all heard about the scandal last week from the INE, from the National Statistic Institution, the way they were gathering information. They are gathering information right now through our mobile devices in order to provide better services. It's a little bit, I don't know the word, but I mean, we don't mind Netflix sending us the email on Friday night telling us what TV show or film we should be watching based on our on our views before. We don't mind giving Google and all the big corporations, but when it comes to the big brother, to the public institution, it's all about problems. They want to know how much money we win. They want to know what do we do. No, we're gathering the data in order to deliver proactive public services and better quality public services. But we've got a problem here. I mean, it's true that it's something that's aware in our citizens, so we need to explain much better what we're doing. We need to go from transparency to accountability. We need to explain why we gather this data, what are we going to do with it, why are we gathering that data, not other data. We need to better explanation. That would be one of the first issues we're tackling. There's a second one about citizens and training citizens on technology. The thing is that we've discovered that there's not only a gap, there's not only a breach on the access to internet, basic infrastructure on internet, but also there's a gap with people not knowing what technology is used for or what it could be useful for people. So we've got, as an example, we've got this what we call the Ateneus de Fabricació Digital, which are the public equipments where we work together with makers, with NGOs, with citizens, with schools, with a lot of institutions in order to interact between technology and citizens. And finally, last area of work development, we've got what we call the ecosystem on technology, innovation in the city and ecosystem in the city. We are the public body, we are the public institution, and we have to pursue the public common good, but there's a lot of stakeholders and they've got their value, and we're all in this together, so we need to work together. They are big companies, and whether we like it or not, they're going to work in the city and they're going to look for the business, as that's what they do. So we need to have an ecosystem, we need to build an environment, a trustless environment where we can work together. We represent different interests, that's truth, but we're facing the same problems. So that's mainly what I wanted to share with you. Thanks a lot, and apologize again.
Thank you very much. So now we give the floor to Lina Galvez.
Okay. So thank you very much. Really, I really appreciate this invitation because as a parliamentarian, well, I'm going to speak now, but what I have to mostly to do and what I would like to do most is listen and to learn about your experiences, because obviously there are a lot of things going on the Parliament. The European Parliament is very complex because there are many different interests, national ones, regional ones, different parties. So the balance is very, very, very complex and very difficult. So even if things are, very well designed, later on they could end up in a very different thing that their original design. So it's very good for me to be here because I'm learning, basically, being here as an academic still, because I've started on July as a parliament, as a member of the parliament. And obviously, to learn knowledge is something very appreciated to me. And open knowledge, obviously, because it's the only one I understand in a way. So thank you very much for this invitation. I was asked to talk about the impact of the digital transformation on achieving an egalitarian society and the European Parliament agenda. So before getting into the European Parliament agenda, I would like to make a thought in a way. This digital transformation arrives with many possibilities for us to achieve an egalitarian society. This zero marginal cost or almost zero marginal cost production that is bringing to us. Also, the environmental sustainability the political participation, the possibilities around the political participation, or the care issues that normally are not included. But just because I have a mobile, I'm able to be here because I have my sister in the hospital. Probably, if I will not be able to see her via video conference, probably I will be more worried and stay there. But because I've seen her face, so I said, well, I still can take care of her. I know it's not the same, but care doesn't mean anymore always to be with someone physically. We could do in family through technology. So there are a lot of possibilities that open in many different spaces or places with this digital transformation. But on the other hand, what we have in reality is that inequality is increasing. So we have a lot of possibilities. That's first, I have said the good news, and second, the bad news. The reality is that inequalities are increasing in many different aspects. For instance, obviously, income distribution is really increasing a lot. We are like in a monopoly game. The winner takes all, wins all. I mean, do you know that Monopoly at the very beginning, there were two different, two different ways, two different designs. I mean, it was a woman who designed the early 20th century. One was a cooperative game, and all could win if they cooperate. And the other one was the Monopoly as we know it. A very competitive, and than the one who wins is when the rest don't exist anymore, because that is called monopoly. And when the rights were bought by the company that has developed the game, they decided to commercialize just the monopoly one as we know it. So things are not all have a meaning in a way. So we have this income distribution increasing very much. And I would like to say also that this is not good for our democracies, because such an inequality is not compatible with our democracy. So that's one thing we have really to have, sorry about that, in mind. We have also inequalities rising among workers. We have some very skilled workers earning a lot with good conditions, having a lot of autonomy over their time, what they could do or what they could not do. And then we have a lot of more and more poor workers. I mean, people that are in the labor market, but they don't earn enough as a living wage. And then we have even platform workers that are sort of the more precarious, because it's not only a question of what they are, how much money they are doing, but also about their autonomy, about their time, which in gender terms is very important, especially if you have care responsibilities. So we have also new territorial, let's say, inequalities rising. Cities, global cities, as it is, for instance, Barcelona, is attracting talent, is attracting investment, but there are other places that are losing. And this is this concentration trend that is creating huge inequalities as well. And Barcelona is not the more extreme. Madrid is doing better in that way that Barcelona in the last years, attracting what's called, I don't like to call it, but just to human capital and this talent and everything. And if we look to London, what has happened with Brexit and everything is very much related with one city growing very much with a lot of wealth, and then the rest of the country going in a different direction. And that creates also a lot of political problems and social problems as well. We have also still worldwide inequalities, because if we take all the society as a whole, we could say, well, inequality has shortened just because many people on China and India, improve. But inequalities within countries are increasing as well, and also among different regions in the world. We have gender differences closing, but in danger of increasing because of this technology. I was explaining in another place before. Obviously, if you see which jobs are more in danger with this digital revolution, there are many jobs that are very much feminized, as all the care jobs that are not in danger, because as I have written a few years ago, robots can take care of us, but they don't care about us. And there is this human dimension within care, even pay care, market pay care, that we are missing. Is if there is a robot going with this old person in elderly residence, and missing this humanity is still essential, it's still very important, and because they are female jobs, so there will still be this demand for health, education, care, which are very feminized. So we say, oh, okay, that's fine. But no, it's not that fine, because we could keep our labor participation, but we have a great problem, which is gender pay gap, and because mainly gender segregation in labor markets. That means that women, we are placed, or we are working in some sectors, and men are working in other sectors. And the sectors we are working, mainly, they are less paid, with worse conditions, etc., etc. And obviously, if you looked to the jobs in, and who is having the skills for these jobs on engineering, computing, everything and so forth, they are mainly men. So that could be an increase on gender pay gap. If there is an increase on gender pay gap, probably we will see a decrease on on women's participation. But also because we will have these guys designing the algorithm with all a male biased, which is terrible, because stereotypes are on the base of these gender inequalities. So, as I said at the very beginning, we have a lot of possibilities, but at the same time, what we are seeing now is that there is these inequalities increasing. And probably it's because we are not giving the right answer to some problems. And there are many things that are not well regulated regarding this digital. It's true that it's so fast that we are not arriving, and there are interests. It was John Michael, what's her name? Michael Donaldson was talking about the Big Brother, as if the Big Brother was still the state. I don't think that the Big Brother is anymore the state. The Big Brother are the big technological companies that are the one really knowing absolutely everything about us. Again, our democracy is in danger because of that. And this is something also we have to regulate, because they are not paying enough taxes. And without taxes, we really cannot afford some reforms, we cannot afford some services that are essential for advancing on equality, or for regulating, or for the promotion of the pro-commons. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily that it has to be a public service taking care of people, or education, or whatever, but from the public, I mean, it's like we call the diamond of care. There are 4 places of provision of care and provision of of well-being in a way, which is the public institutions in a different levels, the market, the family, of course, and the society, the commons. But here the public is a specific one because it is not only a provider, but it's also the one designing the rules of the game. So it is important, this double role of the public, and it could promote in many different ways. There are very interesting experiences, the pro-commons too, or promote a better share of care work in a family too, with equal and non-transferable paternity and maternity leave, for instance, or with taxes in a different design, in a different way, that for instance here in Spain. So there are many possibilities of doing that. So we really need to think also on how we are going to approach this new, because we are entering, I think, in a new phase of capitalism. I don't know if you know this book, The Surveillance Capitalism. If you don't, I will recommend it, because then we are entering in a new, different phase of capitalism, and we really need to take care of that. Otherwise, they will take care of that, because they are shaping our mind, they are shaping our needs, and this is doing already. After we have had this neoliberal revolution we are still living on, and that has changed the way we work, our economy, our society, but especially our culture, with more individualistic values. I mean, all the answers are individual now, relating that. You have to improve your skills, you have to become an entrepreneur, you have to. And if you don't arrive, it's your fault. So they are responsibilizing us, and we are taking this individualistic view about everything. I was also telling before, everything is you have chosen that, it's your choice. But we don't have such a thing as a free choice, because we have pre-material, different material preconditions. We have a different socialization, because in gender terms is very important. And we have also different opportunities, and that make that we change our expectations, because our opportunities are different. So we adapt to them. So it's not true. We don't have the same freedom for choosing things. So all the things we really need to have in mind and to have present. So, regarding all that, how's the parliamentary agenda? The music sounds very well. The music is, we are going to go through this digital transformation, this digital revolution, as well as the green transformation, the green transition, without leaving anyone or any territory behind. That's very common now in the parliament, hearing that all the time. Even the new president, Ursula von der Leyen, said the other day in the parliament, and next week we are going to vote finally the government, the commission, and I'm sure we will listen that again. No leaving anyone or any territory behind. And, well, there are a lot of, the idea is nice. But then we have a budget that is only around 1% of the whole European Union GDP. So just imagine. So compared to other places. So really just a few to invest in all the things that we have to do in order to make the digital transformation, achieving an egalitarian society. So this is also treated from very different perspectives and very different places. I would like to share with you one that is also related with cities, and is one that is going on the committee I'm working on, which is ITRE committee, which is the one on industry, research and energy, and is where we are designing and we are sort of landing the Horizon Europe research program, which is probably the biggest research program in the world, which is, again, knowledge and research for improving people's well-being. And so this program has changed. It will going on from 21st to 27. And it still has some of the aspects that are already in the Horizon 2020, the one that's still going on. And it has been quite successful in many aspects, but it has also some novelties. And the novelty is that it is mission-oriented. And what means being mission-oriented is to have a concrete mission, a concrete goal that we have to achieve in a period of time, and involving many different actors, stakeholders, citizenship, a lot of citizenship. Again, the music sounds very well, including the citizenship in the co-decision, in the co-design, co-creation, so forth and so forth. Okay, so that sounds very good. That sounds very nice. But let's see how it landed at the end. One example. There are 5 missions only. These 5 missions are not out of the blue, are the result of many actors involved saying what is important, which are the important goals for European society and our sort of global challenges in a way. The idea is that our research, which is a good research, we are the best on research on the whole world. Probably in output, probably China will reach us very soon, but never mind. Now is on results they are, but is a science far away from innovation in a way, including social innovation, and far away sometimes from society real needs and challenges. So this program wants to fill that gap, both gaps, which is again very good. So they have defined 5 of these missions. One is cancer, another one is oceans, water, coast. The one is soils and sustainable agriculture. Another one, that's probably the names are not exactly like this, but more or less is what they are around. And another one is climate change. And another one are smart and climate neutral cities. So one of the 5 is cities, which is great because a big part of these possibilities of arriving to achieving an egalitarian society could be developed within cities. That's at least what I think and what I believe. So now we are in the process. We have, they have, the Commission, the European Commission, not the Parliament, decided who are the members of that votes of experts that will be landing these missions, because obviously cancer is a huge mission, so you could make it more concrete, saying how to improve the well-being of people who survive, for instance, or you could try to develop another thing. So the oceans, you could say, well, we are going to go against plastic in the ocean, or you could say, well, we are going to tackle the acidity of the oceans. So they are very different. I mean, still we are dealing with oceans and so on and so forth. So what about the one on the cities? So the original proposal and the one that some of the experts are working with is to pick up, or not to pick up, that 100 cities will be sort of signing a contract with the European Commission in order to arrive to certain goals, especially climate neutral by 2030. And other issues, but they really need to do it, and for that, we really need to work with universities, with the society. I mean, we really need to all to work on the same direction. But there are other experts, probably some of them belonging to some businesses or countries that have other interests, saying that the mission on cities should be only on electrification of the cities. They're very different. Very, very, very different. So, again, we really need to be, the European Parliament agenda is the society agenda. So I was saying at the very beginning that I was very happy to be here, and I was here mostly not to talk to you, but to learn from you and from your experiences, because that will allow now me to get back to the Parliament, and when we at the Parliament ask information about the mission to the European Commission, say, no, there are a lot of possibilities because there are already a lot of things going on in some cities that are really promoting a new kind of society, an inclusive and egalitarian society. So, as I said at the very beginning, the European Parliament is very complex. There are a lot of interest from, not only from businesses, different countries, different regions, different political parties, that, sometimes very opposite interest. And so what I will ask you is to help me and to help other members from the European Parliament and other parliaments, also regional, national, different levels at anywhere, to really to push, because if we don't push, well, I'm a citizen too. We really need to push all the time. Otherwise, other interests will, win the monopoly in a way, as I was saying at the very beginning. So I'm happy to answer any question that I'm able to, because I started in the European Parliament just on July. And I'm listening, your experiences, your proposals, and this sharing cities action that is so amazing and so interesting. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lina. Your discourse, it's and what you have explained about the impact of digital transformation and the centrality of cities in the new mission is happening in a stand of sharing cities. So I think it have a lot of sense, in the sense of when you were saying it's important to push and to make sure that the mission around the cities connect with the necessities of more egalitarian society, no? I see one connection that emerged from the fact that you are here and we are in the Sharing Cities Stand Lab is that we could think, one is like to make arrive the Declaration of Sharing Principles and Commitment by Cities, which is a declaration that was signed last year by 50 cities, and now in the program there is 70 cities behind. There are also from other continents, but there are many European, in which is established which are the principles which connect very, very much with the egalitarian society objective, which are the principles that should be preserved in a sharing city, no? Like principles like about the labor rights, inclusion, environmental sustainability, city sovereignty, digital rights, and to preserve in general the general interest and the right to the city. No, those are the main principles and elements of the Sharing City Declaration. So, considering that we have a resource in which cities are saying which are the principles that should prevail in this digital transition. No, I think it could be a tool to making this push, like, and we could actually transmit this to the cities, like saying that one of the actions that we could be developing and one of the targets that we could be developing during this year for the Sharing Cities task force is to actually making that push, in the sense of making some action between the cities to make arrive the declaration to the definition of this mission around cities, and also to make sure that the cities part of the program are aware about these 100 cities that are going to be signing this finally. So that the cities that are already participating in the Sharing City Task Force are informed and have an active role into incorporating into that. So that I would say it's a connection that we can do from the fact that you are here.
May I ask a question? Because you were asking us to push, to Parliament, but how to do that? Because actually, there's a sort of, as far as I know, or as I see, is a sort of buffer between the European Parliament and the Commission, and then all the things that are going on at the national and regional levels. And for us as citizens, or at least as universities, it's hard to get there. So how to do that? Because you were saying that the budget is limited, but you're also regulators and also prescriptors. Many of the policies that prescribe at the European level are after being implemented at the national level, and for the research, R&I strategies is just like this. So how can we do this pushing at a European level with you? One example could be the Sharing Cities initiative, for sure, but can you give it other clues or other ways to do it?
When I say this pushing things, because it is very important. I always tell one story that when the unions went to see Roosevelt before the New Deal was implemented, they convinced him about how important was to change the economic policy. There was an austerity economic policy to that time, and he said, "Well, yeah, you convinced me. That's right. Now, go to the streets and oblige me to do it." No, because he really needed this, to justify his. So why the pushing is important in my opinion. Well, Brussels, as you know, as Washington D.C. and other places, but especially Brussels, is full of lobbyists, absolutely full of lobbyists. But lobbyist is not only a private company doing lobby, or is not. There are NGOs, there are a lot of universities going there. There are research groups, there are, citizens. There are many. Everybody. Obviously, again, it will depend. Obviously, in my agenda, I will always receive a university. I will also receive an NGO, etc., etc. And there are others that probably will only receive business. So it's up to the person. The balance in the parliament is sort of right-wing parties are more numerous than left-wing parties. That's the first thing you have to know. Then the national balance, and also the regional in a less way, but the national is also very, very important, because depending how big your country is, how big is the number of people you have there. So there, as I was saying, there are a few different balances, but there are many other possibilities. I mean, each idea you want to translate, you just need to not only to the Parliament, but also to the Commission, because one thing, one privilege we have at the Parliament is that we could ask someone, the Commission, to come and to talk with us about a specific topic. So if you know about something that is going on, whatever, you could always try to contact someone from the Parliament that will make this. We are kind of the voice of the people there. We are representing the people, not just business. We are representing the people, and so we should do that. And we could, ask the Commission, to inform us about something. We could have hearings. We could promote studies. We could promote conferences. We could promote many different things. Well, I hope that regarding it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm falling down. I'm falling down. So it's okay. It's okay. I have slept 2 hours. So I'm not normally. I don't speak that slow. I have spoken today. I speak very, very, very speedy. I'm very, with a lot of strength. But I have slept only 2 hours yesterday, probably 3 the night before. As I said, my sister's in the hospital. I've been traveling a lot as well. So, anyway, I'm falling down. No. As I said at the very beginning, it's very interesting because I think it's one of the agendas I would like to, to promote there at the Parliament. So I'm happy and very interested of being here because we could just think how, because as I said, we are now designing, these missions, but also other things. And, it depends who push stronger, that things could go for one way or the other. So it's important to be involved on that and,
No, for me, that's another step for the to-do list of this year, in the sense of, in terms of the regulations from the European Commission on digital platforms and the sharing economy. Actually, the European Commission defined the European Agenda of Collaborative Economy in 2016, which was quite restrictive. Restrictive in the sense that was very much looking into the interests of the platforms not to have many responsibilities, and being under the frame of e-commerce instead of in the frame of tourism regulation in the case of Airbnb, no? So that Airbnb is only considered like a Google and not considered like a tourist service, or Uber being considered only a Google and not being considered providing taxi drivers, no? So there are a lot of interest behind the platform economy and how it's been established, its regulation. So, but the European Commission did this agenda, but then the European Parliament, with Marco Diani from Socialist Party from Italy, was the Europarlamentarian leading the position of the Europarlament on this issue, on the reacting to the position of the Commission. And actually, the first time he presented the position of the European Parliament on the platform economy was here in Barcelona. He decided to recognize the role of Barcelona as very proactive in the policies, and also because we organized a forum for the co-creation of policies on the field, and we sent it to the Commission, and we were like making a lot of push. So in response, he presented for the first time here. And one of the elements that he introduced, the position of the Parliament, the Europarlament was more favorable to a larger set of, to more connected to the principles of egalitarian society, we could say. And one of the points that he added, and it was added in the position of the Europarlament, was increasing the role of cities in the definition of the regulation of this ambit, because cities are suffering the impact of the digital platforms and the disruptive impact, but at the same time doesn't have many competencies. So that is important that Europe recognize the cities and have more role into the position on this. So in this sense, this coming year there is going to be the revision of the e-commerce directive, and it's going to be extremely important for the regulation of this ambit. And I think it would be very useful that through you and we could actually get in contact with the Commission on this issue and make arrive the position of the cities regarding this. Because I have to say it's a bit of an anecdote, but an anecdote that shows that we are moving forward, but that there are issues to be solved. When DG Growth, that was leading the position of the Commission regarding the platform economy, wanted to consult the cities about what do they think about it, I went to Brussels to offer that Barcelona City Council program that we have with us, with certain cities, could help the DG Growth to get to know what Barcelona was thinking about it, and Barcelona ecosystem. And they say, no, you are not, Barcelona City Council is not our contact in Barcelona. Our contact is the lobby of the platforms. So they organize the workshop with the lobby of the platforms instead of the Barcelona City Council. So imagine the commission, yeah. So imagine. So that's that's what's happening in 2016. But we are pushing, things are changing. Then the European Parliament came here to present it in recognition of Barcelona. So that was another type of response. But now also a positive element is that the DG Growth has created a specific unit for social economy. And actually they has recognized this event, the Sharing City Stand Lab, as one of the 10 more important events in Europe for this year on social economy. So the pushing get a response, give a lot of work, but so in order to sum up, we are going to make in the to-do list all the ideas that has came and the connection that has came here in order how to make arrive the Sharing City declaration and the principles and this through the channels that you have pointed to. So it's very useful.
One thing really regarding that, well, that there are different committees. It will not be my committee, the e-commerce, it will be the one of commerce, but we will be informed. So something at the end we will be able to do. But I have to say that I make myself with Alicia Oms, another colleague also from the socialist group, a question to the Commission regarding platform workers, because I don't know if you know that 1 month ago, or approximately 1.5 months ago, California passed a law on recognizing rights of platform workers as other workers, just as simple as that. And so we asked the Commission if they will follow this approach as well. They have not answered us so far. But I have also the chance to make the same question on a sort of more informal forum to the future new commissioner of employment, and he was he's from the Luxembourg Socialist Party. He was a labor minister before Luxembourg, and he wants to make a specific regulation or just to for this platform workers. Let's see what's happening at the end again, but at least there is this idea. And one thing just is more general, because before when you say sustainability, maybe we have to, and now you have mentioned social economy. One thing maybe we have to make sure is to give the right definition of each thing, because this is very important. For instance, social economy is not what a very important businessman in Spain is doing because he's in the elderly care sector. Okay? Because what he's doing is the contrary and the opposite of social economy principles. I mean, to be in a social sector just paying below any dignity to their workers is no social economy at all. At all, absolutely at all. So being in a social sector or social services sector doesn't mean it's social economy. This is very important, and this is something we have to be aware to. sustainability is the same, what we call, you mentioned also DJ growth, and now I stop because otherwise the coffee is now making effect. And you mentioned too DJ growth. Just the word growth is the huge problem. We have to get rid of our addiction to growth. That's very important. Otherwise, we will not be able to change absolutely anything at all, because what is valuable and what is not is something we should define much better than we do it now.
So thank you very much. I want to make present that Álvaro Porro, actually the Commissioner of Social Economy, is here and is going to follow in the next intervention, so he can pick into what you say. That social economy is not always to be in a social sphere doesn't necessarily mean to be social economy. If you are paying not properly and you are precarizing the work, no. So I think. In this, we will pick it for the next debate. So thank you very much, Lina. Thank you for making the effort to come here and for giving us your analysis on the egalitarian society as a guidelines, and also in the political action. From your position at the Parliament. As I say, I get a lot of to-do lists from the task force roadmap for this year. Also the element of having Pastora here, the dimension of research, research action, experimentation, and doing joint actions between knowledge institutions and government institutions, no, in the context of fake news and everything, it become even more important. So very significant that the two of you are here, and very useful the conversation. Okay, thank you everyone.